So, I was 24 years old when I started in the automotive industry, and the rest is history. This industry has completely transformed my life. Now, you have a lot of people who are in this industry and a lot of people who fail, but then you have a lot of people who have created wealth, who have changed basically their life history for generations to come. So what's the difference between guys who fail and guys who succeed? See, when I was 24 years old, I got involved to this industry just like a lot of you have, or a lot of you might be thinking. I got involved in this industry because I really had no choice. I dropped out of college to start a sales job. The reason why I had started that sales job was because when I was looking at my paychecks, I was like, I'm almost making the same amount of money as I would if I would finish my degree. Why not continue doing what I'm doing and see where it can take me? So that's why I dropped out of college. How did I even get involved in the automotive industry? If you don't know who I am, my name is Vashal Singh. I've been in the automotive industry for almost 10 years now. I make very close to almost $300,000 every single year. The automotive industry, if you knew who I was 10 years ago, a lot of guys would have never pictured me to be where I am today. I went from being a salesperson to being the general manager of a dealership, which is basically one of the highest positions you can get in the automotive industry outside of just owning one. But a guy like me, who was always out partying, who had lost everything, completely broke, who was addicted, basically, which I think I was addicted to partying and drinking alcohol, which I guess a lot of people in their 20s do. But how did a guy like me end up having a life that I have? A life where if I look at my savings now, I'm shocked at myself how I have that amount of money saved up in my bank account. A life where we go on some of the wildest vacations that most people are not able to go on. How did a guy like me who was so broken, so depressed, wanting to almost give up on life, just give up on his dreams, how did I go from where I was to ending up where I am now? I owe it to one career, and that's car sales. Throughout my career, there were a lot of guys when I first started who had been there already for 10, 15 years. There are a lot of guys that I started with that are still selling cars, doing what they're doing, but I completely outgrew them. I was 24 at that time. So how did I get to where I'm at today in car sales? I got involved in this industry out of complete desperation. When I left college and I decided to get into sales, getting basically a job at this place called Laptop Depot, a place where they sold refurbished laptops. It was big in Alberta and it was a sales job. That was the only job that I could get at the time. It was basically supposed to be a summertime job. And for those of you who haven't heard my story before, I was the shyest guy ever. I could not talk to anybody in high school. I always wanted to be a part of the crew, part of the gang, but I never could because I never had the social skills. I never had the belief and the confidence in myself. But thank God I started off in sales. When I ran into my mentor, Dwayne, that's where my life completely changed. He took me from being somebody that I was and made me so uncomfortable, put me in such uncomfortable positions that I started growing and I started growing and I started getting this confidence. I remember when he would role play with us how to sell a refurbished laptop. So basically he would tell me what to say, how to sell a laptop, and he would say, okay, now go sell it to me. And if you've never done role playing before in the sales industry with other people, it's very uncomfortable because you're put on the spot, you stutter, even like I stutter in these videos sometimes. That's why I don't edit it out, because I'm a real guy. I'm just like you. And it's to put things into perspective. A guy like me, with all the things that are wrong with him, I'm not perfect. How did I get to where I am? So we would do this role playing and he would basically make me go through our script that we had, and I would butcher it every time we were role playing with him because I was so nervous. And he was my coach, he was my manager. How am I going to be able to do these scripts or sell these laptops in front of him? But as we kept doing it, as we kept growing, I kept getting better and better and better and better. Long story short, it became very easy. I was 22 years old. I was the #1 salesperson. Nobody sold more refurbished laptops. Nobody sold more warranties than I did. And then at 23 years old, they decided to make me the store manager. You can imagine being 23 and getting the paychecks that I was. From being a loser, my life started quickly spiraling out of control. I started drinking more, started partying more. All of a sudden now I had these friends all around me, which I never had before when I was broke. Everybody wanted to be a part of the action with me. Whenever we went out, I didn't know it, but was spiraling out of control. But even as it was spiraling, I was still performing really well at work. So what happened was they wanted to expand into BC, into British Columbia, into a different state, into a different province. I thought, you know what, this is my chance to completely change my life. Now the one problem was that I didn't have the money to open up this franchise in BC. So who do you go to when you don't have money? You go to your parents. And at 23 years old, being the salesperson that I was, I sold my parents on why they should sell their house and invest in opening up this franchise with me. And I sold them hard. Every day we would go at it. And I would tell them what I'm gonna do, the promises that I made. 1 year later, they sold their house. I moved to British Columbia. And 1 year later, I shut the store down. told you this before. That was one of the lowest points in my life. You know, when you see your parents, when you put your parents through something like that, and you let them down, and you think about, they moved to this country in the 80s. It took them 25 years to get them to that house, which was basically their dream house, the house that they always wanted. When you do that to the people that you love, something inside just changes you, and you'll never forget it. Till this day, I never forget it. I'll never forget it. Even though we've gotten everything back and more than what we had then. But that feeling, that sick feeling that you had when you let your parents down, it changes you. You never forget about it. So I lost my business. And the worst part was I was about to get married at that time to the woman of my dreams who's still with me, who's given me 2 beautiful kids today. Sana and Anaya. So thankful for you, for my daughters that I have. But at that time, being in a brown family, being in an East Indian family, being in a Sikh family, there's high expectations. Their parents were excited. They thought she was gonna marry this wealthy business owner who's crushing it, who's young, who's ambitious. Why wouldn't they want their daughter to marry someone like me? But then when I lost it all, everything started spiraling out of control. I felt so bad because their parents, obviously they were worried. They didn't want their daughter to marry somebody like me, and neither would I. Why would you want to? Somebody who just failed, who lost everything, who's living in his cousin's house. And when they asked me where we were going to live, I showed them a basement suite that they were going to live in. Their house at that time, you got to understand where my wife came from. Their house was a mansion. It was about 45 to 5,000 square feet. Their backyard was huge. And I was going to take her from the castle and put her in the basement. It was one of the toughest points in my life. And that's how I got involved in the automotive industry. That's how I started in the car industry, out of sheer desperation, because I had nowhere else to go. The car industry was the only industry willing to accept a guy like me who just literally had sales experience and no education. And the reason why I started was because one of my friends was already crushing and making $100,000 a year. The car industry completely changed my life. It gave a guy a shot like me who had nothing, who needed money right away. The car industry now has provided me with a lifestyle where I've gone to places that honestly people only dream of. My parents have moved into a bigger house. They own an acreage now. We have our own home. We go on vacations. We go to Maui once a year at least, on top of all the other places that we always go to. Live a lifestyle where money is not always a concern right now. And I remember, I think a lot of you guys would relate to this. Do you remember going to the gas station? I remember we were going to the gas station one time, me and my wife, after my car had just gotten repossessed. And I remember going to the gas pump and just, my wife was sitting in the front seat, and I was just hoping and praying, please, let this $20 go through on my debit card. And you think that's kind of stupid. Why wouldn't you check your bank account? I was so fucking scared of checking my bank account. I didn't want to believe the stuff that I'd put my family through. And I remember going to the gas station and saying, please, please, please let this go through. And just checking my wife, seeing if she's looking. She's not looking right now, and decline. I just needed enough money to get home. $5 finally goes through. And I said, God, when is this going to change for me? When will this stop happening with my life? And I've already talked about this in my videos, how you can change your life, how 2025 is going to be the best year for you. But if any of you can relate to this story or are going through the same things that I was going through at the same time right now, I can tell you, I hope there's a light out there, and this video is a light that you can change your life. And if you're looking for the industry for you to change your life in, it is the automotive industry. There's no reason why in your first year you can make 6 figures. There's no reason why any of you out there should not be making a $200,000 income a year if you've been in this automotive industry for a while now. But I gotta say, the rest is history. I am where I'm at today because of the automotive industry. And if any of you ever need any help out there, need any advice, need any coaching, you can always reach out to me. Just give me a quick text at 778-928-0430, or you can DM me on IG at Vashal Mashiana, which is gonna be in the description below. But a lot of you I know have the same story as I did. I know there's a lot of you out there who are struggling just like I was and who just need a hope. I know a lot of you out there are married and have a spouse that you really love and you care about, or you might have kids and you just want to change your life as well. Get involved in the automotive industry, and I can promise you one thing. If you don't let me down, I will not let you down. I promise you that. If you got some value from this video, guys, all I ask is that you like and subscribe to this channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. So you're probably watching this video right now because of its title. And the title is Car Salesman. If you want to improve, if you want to get better, please watch this video for 2025. You're probably watching this video right now because you've been in the industry for a while and things are just not improving. Things are just not getting better. Your paycheck is the same. You're making about $5,000 to $7,000 every single month. You're still stressed about money in the bank account. Sometimes you got to say no to your wife. You got to say no to your kids. You got to say no to vacations because you just cannot afford it. You just don't have the money. And there's other people that are watching this video right now who are just sick and tired of the job that they're working at right now. They don't like where they work. They feel undervalued. They feel like there's something more out there and they feel like they just want to get out of the shackles of money. They just want to stop living this life where they're always concerned about their bank account. They're so concerned about their bank account that they wake up in the morning and they know the first thing that they're supposed to do is check their bank account, but they don't. They don't do it because they're scared to look at their bank account. So most of you guys right now who probably clicked on this video are feeling stuck. You're either in the business and you've been in it for a while and you had these goals and these dreams and these ambitions and you have settled and you forgot about those. And I'm here to remind you of those dreams that you had. Or you're somebody who has these goals, who has these dreams, who has these ambitions, but doesn't have the vehicle to get them there. 2025 should be and will be the greatest year ever for you. But please listen to what I'm about to tell you, because what I'm about to tell you is not going to be easy. You might get a little bit pissed off. You might be a little bit hurt. You might get a little bit emotional. But I'm going to tell you the cold, hard, honest truth. And people who love you and people who care about you, those are the ones that will tell you the truth. People that don't love you and don't care about you, they will always lie to you. They will always tell you that it's okay. But I care about all of you. I want to see you win. I want to see you win. Because I've clicked on these type of videos before. I remember I was that type of person when I just needed to change my life, when I was so frustrated with the position that I'd put myself in, my family in, that I just wanted to change. And that's why I would keep going down this rabbit hole, this dark hole, especially before I went to bed. And I would keep swiping, looking for that one video that's going to change my life. I hope this is the video for you guys today. For those of you who are considering car sales, who are in car sales, who have been in car sales for a little bit of time, you can change your life in 2025. But it's going to start off with you really having a hard look in the mirror. See, when I started in the automotive industry, I started out of basic desperation. I had just lost my business when I was 23 years old and I was about to get married at that time, and I had just lost my business. I was so naive. I was a young kid. I thought I knew it all. My ego got in the way and I lost it all. And that was one of the lowest points in my life. My parents actually sold their home so I could open up my own business. I had moved from Edmonton to Vancouver and I had left Edmonton thinking that I would go back a hero. I would go back a millionaire. And now here I was in Vancouver, about to get married, and I had lost everything. I was so ashamed. I was so broken. I was so shattered. I didn't even know what to do. One thing that I did know was that I couldn't go back. There's no way I could go back. How could I show my face? I was so embarrassed. I'd taken my parents from living in their house to living in an apartment. The worst thing was that I was about to get married at that time to the woman of my dreams. And for her parents to see me from where I was, and right before the same year that I was supposed to get married was the same year I lost my business. They had questions. You know, as soon as I lost my business and they found out, obviously there were concerns. Where are you going to live? Where are you going to take our daughter? How are you going to provide for her? And I had no answers. I was so embarrassed, so shattered, so broken. But then I thought to myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to just cower, just stop, just give up on life right now? Is that what I'm going to do? Is this the story that is going to be written for me? Or am I going to fight? Am I going to fight to win? I knew I was going to fight to win. I wasn't going to give up, but I needed a vehicle to get me to my goals and dreams. And that's when I entered the automotive industry. You know, sometimes you need to go through those types of situations for you to wake up and know that it's nobody else's fault but yours. It was nobody else's fault but mine. I was the one that had put myself in that position. So this is going to lead me to my first point. When I got involved in the automotive industry, I knew I needed to reinvent myself. The old Vashal, I literally needed to kill the old Vashal. I needed to destroy that guy. I needed to bury him 6 feet deep and out needed to become a new guy. The funny thing was, when I first started in the automotive industry, the only reason why I was successful was because the skills, the sales skills that I had learned and the confidence that I had had from my previous sales job. I didn't reinvent myself. I didn't do anything. I just literally worked my ass off. That's what I did. And out of pure fear, that's the reason why I succeeded. That's the reason why in the first couple of years I moved up so much in my career. But for those of you, it's 2025 and now you need to reinvent yourself. What you've been doing, think about it. What you have been doing repeatedly over and over again for the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, how's it been working out? Are you where you thought you would be? Is this where you thought you would be 10 years ago? Imagine 10 years ago. What type of person were you? How old were you? What were the goals and the dreams that you had? And you can't say you were young and you had these big goals and these big dreams and now you're being realistic. No, you just gave up on your goals and your dreams. There's no reason. See, without dreams, there's no motivation in life. There's no excitement in life. Tony Robbins says this one thing. If you want to be successful in life, you always have to be progressing. You always have to be progressing towards something. The day that you stop progressing towards something, towards a goal, towards your vision, is a day that you literally die and you accept your fate. Are you one of those guys, one of those dads who's out there and who's just accepted his life? Who in the summer times works on his backyards, always on the barbecue? Just passing through life, just coasting through life, just living his life through his children? Has your life become all about your children now and not about yourself and about your goals and your dreams? You need to reinvent yourself. You literally need to become a new person. And you need to sit down and you need to figure out how you can become the best version of yourself. When I did this exercise, and I think this was around 2016, I had become a general sales manager and then I had decided to leave the industry. I think it was about 2019 was when I decided to come back to the industry. And that's when I started again, completely reinventing myself. For me, I do this I try to do it on a daily basis, but to be honest, I do it every single year. I reinvent myself. I pick up new habits and I drop some bad ones. That's what I do. And it's hard. Right now, as you're watching this video, I'm doing 75 Hard. For those of you who don't know what 75 Hard is, it's by a guy named Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella came up with this mental toughness program, which is called 75 Hard. So for 75 days, I'm gonna do 2 45-minute workouts. One has to be outside. Right now, I live in Calgary, Canada, where the weather right now has been close to minus 20 degrees Celsius, but I've made no excuses. You have to do 2 45-minute workouts outside. You have to drink 1 gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages of a personal development book. You have to take a progress photo of yourself every single day. And then the 5th one is no cheat meals. You have to do this for 75 days. Most people, they quit in the first 10 days. I am right now on day number 10. But why would I put myself through this? Because I know to become the better version of myself, I need to do hard things. I need to do this mental toughness challenge if I want to be the best that I can be. So for you to level up, it's just like a video game. How do you level up yourself in a video game? How do you level up your character? Whether you play sports, video games, or whether you play some RPG video games or whatever they are. How do you level up your character? How are you going to level up your character this year? What are you going to do? What are you going to change? The main thing with reinventing yourself is you changing. You need to change. If you don't change, nothing will change in your life. The day that you decide that you need to change the way that you've been doing things is the day that your life will change. So this year, reinvent yourself. The second thing is be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Be honest. Why are you in the position that you're in? It's not because of your job. It's because of your thinking. That's why. You need to work on reprogramming your mindset. Why are you in the position that you're in? It's not your boss's fault. It's not your career's fault. It's not your country's fault. It's not where you live. It's not your spouse. It's not your family. It's not your parents. It's you. So be honest with yourself. It's time for us to stop lying. Stop blaming everybody else who's around you. Why are you in the position that you're in? Why are you struggling right now? Why is your family going through the things that they're going through right now? Why are you not able to go on your dream vacations? Why not? Why do you have to settle? Why can't you go to the nice restaurants that you know you want to go to, but you've just accepted that you don't need to go to those places anymore. You don't need to take your family out. You don't need to buy your family good gifts. Be honest with yourself. The reason why you can't do these things is because of you. It's because of your thinking. And you refuse to change. That's the problem. You refuse to change. And if you don't change, nothing is going to change in your life. The day that you start taking responsibility for your life is the day that you take a step forwards to you changing your life in 2025. Start taking responsibility. Be a responsible person. Take responsibility for all of your loved one. My parents, my family, my kids, they have the lifestyle that they have now is because it's my responsibility. I take that responsibility. Don't run away from it. Some of you want to travel this world, not worry about anything, live a van life. If you want to live that type of life, this is not for you. This video is not for you. But if you want to do something great, if you want to do something big, then this video is for you. The next thing that you need to do in 2025 to completely change your life, especially if you're in car sales, you need to decide to upgrade your skills, man. You got to stop living this fucking lie. You got to stop thinking that everybody who's trying to train you is trying to scam you. You gotta stop thinking that you're good enough, that you're gonna do it on your own. You literally suck at car sales right now. If you're a guy who sells between 10 to 15 cars a month, you suck. That's easy. You are literally just winging it and you don't even understand The reason why you don't understand is because your standards are so low. You need to raise your standards. And that's by you surrounding yourself with winners, with champions. How do you surround yourself with winners and champions? You need to get yourself a part of a community. And I'm telling you right now, the people at your dealership are not those people. You need to get yourself around winners. You need to get yourself around a coach. For me, I have so many coaches. I have a coach for my fitness. I have a coach for mental toughness, who I pay every single month. I have a coach for my relationship. I have a coach for everything. Whenever I set a goal and I want to go somewhere, I hire a coach. I'm not going to do it on my own. And that's the lie that you've been living, especially if you've been in car sales for a little while. If you are thinking about running a marathon, don't you hire a coach before you start running a marathon or a triathlon or an ultra marathon? I'm about to get prepared to run an ultra marathon. I'm going to hire a coach. I'm not going to try to do it on my own. But for some reason, you think that you're going to make it on your own. Why haven't you gotten to where you want to be yet? You think this video alone is going to change your life? No, it's the daily things that you do every single day that are going to change your life. It's about being around people that are going to push you. So for you guys, upgrade your skills, invest in courses, go read books, invest in a coach. I don't care who it is. You want to go watch Andy Elliott's videos? You want to go invest in his course? Go pay for his course. It's fucking awesome. You want to pay for other salespeople, other sales trainers? Go pay for it. If you want to be a part of my coaching program and my community, text me and we'll see if you're a right fit. You can text me at 778-928-0430. Or the other way that you can reach me is you can add me in IG. But we'll see if you're a good fit. I don't know if we're going to work together well or not. I don't know if you can handle me as your coach. I don't know if you're ready. But if you're ready to change your life in 2025, you might as well do something different. The best person that you can invest in is yourself. That is the best person. And I'm telling you right now, the only reason why you're not is because you don't think you're worth it. You're telling yourself these fallacies and these lies, thinking that everybody out there is to get you. But you don't understand, your thinking is the only people that are suffering because of the thinking that you have are those loved ones around you. This limited mindset that you have, these limiting beliefs that you have. And I feel sorry for people that have these limiting beliefs. Whereas if you just had this abundance mindset, you invested in yourself, you invested in upgrading your mindset instead of trying to upgrade your clothes, instead of trying to upgrade your wardrobe, upgrade your vehicle, upgrade your house, upgrade your location. Instead, if you would just focus on upgrading your mindset, how different your life would be. The day that I started doing this, and I'm lucky I ran into my coach, he was the VP at my dealership. And when he told me, Vashal, you need to invest in yourself more than you do in your job, your life is going to change. I went fucking crazy. I started finding coaches that I could afford, obviously. At that time, I couldn't afford nothing. I started investing in coaches where they were $49 a month classes. I started buying courses. I started going crazy. I remember when I would go to bed, at the beginning, me and my wife, we were sleeping on a mattress in a basement. Couldn't afford a bed frame. But I remember I would go to sleep with my laptop on, watching YouTube videos while I'm going to sleep. That was my television. We couldn't afford cable at that time. That's all I had was internet. I decided, am I going to pay for cable or am I going to pay for internet? I decided to pay for internet. And I just went crazy. I became a self-development machine, personal development machine. And I'll tell you, those $49, $99 a month, actually, I couldn't even afford it at that time. I was borrowing money off my credit cards. But I'll tell you, I would not be where I'm at today if I had not just started with the small little investments in myself. So what are you going to change this year? What is a different course that you're going to adopt? What is a coach that you're going to get to mentor you? What community are you going to join? What are you going to do? Or are you just going to do it on your own? If you're going to do it on your own, just stop watching this video right now. There's really no point because you're not going to change. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting the results that you are because nothing's going to change. The next thing that you're going to need to do if you really want to change 2025 as a car salesman, look, you got to start increasing your work ethic. You're lazy. You're not working hard. Working hard means working 6 days a week. That's what working hard is. And right now, you are broke. Even if you're making $100,000 a year, you're fucking broke. You think $100,000 a year, you're just getting by right now. I'm telling you, that is nothing. And stop coasting because your life is going to be over. You will not even be able to retire. You'll be 65 years old and still working at the dealership. Do you really want to be that guy? If you don't, these are the prime years. God gave you these years to work hard, to build your identity, to build your foundation, to build your wealth. These are your wealth building years, not when you're in your 60s. Do not decide to work hard then. This is the time for you to work hard. And that is the one thing throughout my whole career I've never changed. I've always had a strong work ethic. And for me, it's not even really like work, it's my sport. I remember when I was a competitive soccer player, I was so excited to go to my practices and my games. It never felt like work to me. And in car sales, that's my arena as well. It doesn't feel like work. That's my arena. That's where I get excited. Get excited about going into your arena, which is car sales. Get excited about going into the dealership. Get excited about making money and bring your family a part of that process. There's days where I bring my daughter into the dealership. I have my wife stop by and stay there for a couple hours. We started making this not just my thing, we made it our thing. because we're collectively, my wife and my family knows that this is the vehicle that is going to get all of us to my goals and my dreams. Share your dreams and goals with your family. Sit down and have a meeting with your spouse. And the next thing is your habits. The number one reason why you're not succeeding is not because of your work ethic, is not because of the fact that you're not showing up every single day, but it's the habits that you have. It's not because of your goals. Goals are great. Goals written down are a great starting point. But it's your daily non-negotiables that are going to get you to where you want to go. All the guys in my community, and I'm so proud of the guys that are part of my community because they're all new guys who have just been in the first month and they're fucking crushing it. But the number one reason why is because the daily non-negotiables that we go over, that I tell them that they need to do. And this is the secret sauce to your success. This is going to be the secret sauce to your success in 2025. And this is what is basically tagged in the top of my community are the daily non-negotiables that I get them to do every day. If you want to know what the daily non-negotiables are, just shoot me a text. I'll get them over to you right away at 778-928-0430 or shoot me a DM on IG. But look, I asked you to please watch this video and I did want you. And if you're still watching this till the end, I'm proud of you because you are well on your way to changing your life in 2025. But I hope this is the video that really starts the uphill spiral to you changing your life. Hopefully this is the snowball effect for you saying, you know what, enough is enough. Living a mediocre life. I've had enough of this. I'm not going to accept this anymore. And your life will be always what you're willing to accept. When you decide that you're not willing to accept this anymore, like literally you decide that enough is enough. You're not going to accept this type of life anymore. That is the day that your life is going to change. Appreciate you guys watching this video. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. So I've read 1,000 books over my car sales career. Beyond a doubt, the number one reason why I got to becoming the general manager of a dealership, making over $300,000 a year, and I've read close to 1,000 books. And out of those 1,000 books, these are the top 5 sales books that completely changed my life. Let's get started. Let's get into the video. The number one book is by an author called Og Mandino, which is the greatest salesman in the world. This book was the first book that was introduced to me when I first started in car sales. I had not started reading books until after I had become a general sales manager. Now, at the beginning of my career in the automotive industry, the reason why I was able to move up in my career so quickly was because out of sheer desperation, out of sheer work ethic. I literally did not leave the dealership because I was so broke at that time. And when I was a sales manager, I was fortunate enough to have a vice president who was all about personally developing the people that worked with him. And he had told me about reading books, about self-development. He said, Vashal, you need to get into reading. You need to start watching YouTube videos. And I said, well, I've never even heard of this before. What do you mean about personal development? What do you mean about reading books? I had not read a book since I was in college. And he said, Vashal, started off with this one. The first one that he told me about was Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world. Now, this book is a very small book, but this book completely changed my perspective. This book is about scrolls. It's about this young man who meets this other man who basically becomes his mentor, and he goes through these scrolls, and these scrolls are basically how you should live your life every single day. This would be a great book for some of you to start off, especially if you are in sales. It's exactly what it says it is. It will teach you how to become a better human being, how to actually sell more. It'll give you the habits that you need, and it'll give you the mindset. I highly recommend this book. It's a short read. You could probably read it in one day. The next book that completely changed my life was Relentless by Tim Grover. Now, if you don't know who Tim Grover is, Tim Grover was the trainer of Michael Jordan, people like Kobe Bryant, like Dwayne Wade. He taught the best of the best. And he said Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant had a completely different mindset. This was a trainer who basically slept in the same hotel rooms as Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. He was there every single day with them on the road. He knew their deepest, darkest secrets. And he talks about the mentality that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan had. Now in this book, like I went over in my last video, he talks about coolers, closers, and cleaners. It's an amazing book, and it'll make you want to go from being a cooler to a cleaner. He talks about cleaners, how they completely just wipe the whole floor with their whole industry. And this will give you a mindset of just literally being relentless, and literally it'll give you a wake-up call, and it'll make you raise your standards. The next book, which is third on my list, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you have not heard of this book, you must be living under a rock, because this is second most read book in the world next to the Bible. Napoleon Hill, back in the early 1900s, basically interviewed the most wealthy people in the world. I'm talking people like Henry Ford, who invented the Ford Motor Company. I'm talking people like the Rockefellers. All the wealthiest people in the world he interviewed, and he put all of their secrets into this book. This book is an amazing book. Every single wealthy person that you listen to on YouTube, that you watch, they all say the main thing. The reason why they have been so successful is because of this book. This book will teach you step by step how to climb the ladder of success, literally. It is a life-changing book. You should definitely pick it up. The next book that you should all pick up is The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone started off his career in car sales, and how he got to where he is at today was by doing car sales training. And now Grant Cardone he's probably close to being worth billions of dollars, has lots of real estate, has transitioned from car sales to basically being a real estate mogul. But I remember when I was first starting off in automotive sales, Grant Cardone was the OG. He was the one who was training on car sales. So I watched his videos, and he came out with this book that was called 10X. And basically what 10X means is that thinking bigger. If you have a goal, you need to 10X that goal. 10 times that goal, because I'd rather fall short of 10X than hit my realistic goal. So when I read that book, I started thinking way bigger. Everything started to change in my life. So when I became a general manager at a dealership, the goal that we had was literally, with working at this Acura dealership, was selling 50 cars. I said, you know what, we're going to aim for 500. So when I started running this dealership, I started operating at a pace where our goal was to sell 500. You should have seen the look on my sales guys' face. They looked like they had seen a ghost. But I started thinking bigger. And when I set my goals, I think the same way when I'm setting the goals with me and my wife. So this book basically got me to open up my vision and started to think bigger. And the bigger that I thought, the better opportunities that started coming in my life. And the last book that I'll recommend to all of you is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. If you're looking at recreating your life, completely changing who you are as a person, and you just need this jolt to start your life all over again. If you don't know who David Goggins is a savage. He will make you want to be a better person. He will make you want to be a better human being. He'll make you want to raise your standards. But Can't Hurt Me is basically like his biography. And I can tell you his book is a roller coaster. If you can't read the book, I would recommend that if you're going on a long road trip, you listen to his audiobook in your car, and you will know what I mean. But it'll completely change your life. What this guy went through. This guy was literally so fucked up, had such a fucked up childhood, was so overweight. His career was being a cockroach exterminator. And he talks about it. And who he became now, running ultra marathons, I would say, if not the strongest mental coach in the world. He broke the pull-up record for doing the most pull-ups in a day. He broke that record. Being who he's at today gave me no excuse of me changing my life completely. So if you're looking for a jolt and you might have these limiting beliefs or these excuses that you keep making up in your mind why you can't get to where you want to go, I highly recommend you picking up Can't Hurt Me. Look, at the end of the day, if you want to change your life, and if you want to change your mindset, and if you want to change your paycheck, you have to start working on yourself. And the best way that I've found that you can change your life is by reading books, not even listening to them, not watching YouTube videos, but sitting down in a chair and reading 10 pages every single day. Out of the 1,000 books that I have read, these are the 5 books that completely recreated my life. So I hope you pick up these 5 books. I'm going to drop them down in the link below. But other than that, if you need anything at all, make sure you could text me at any time or reach out to me on IG. But until next time, I will see you guys later. In this video, I'm going to show you how to dominate 2025 in the automotive industry so it can be one of the best years that you have ever had. You're probably watching this video right now because you're either just starting out in the automotive industry or you've been in it for a little bit of time and you're not happy with your paycheck, you haven't gotten to where you're at, and neither is your family, and your dreams you're no longer thinking of because you literally decided that they're not important anymore, or you made them even smaller. There's no reason to live this life small. It's time for you guys to dream big. And with 2025 around the corner, there's some things that you're going to need to change if you want to dominate and you want to completely recreate your entire life. So how to dominate 2025? The first thing is habits. You're going to need to adopt some new habits. It's most likely you need to just drop one bad habit, and you need to identify what that one bad habit is. When I first started out in the automotive industry, there's one habit that was crushing me. I had the energy, I was young. This one habit was destroying my energy. I was getting brain fog. It wasn't working to my full capacity that I knew that I could. And that one habit for me was alcohol. So for you, what is that one habit that you're gonna drop? See, a lot of the times we try doing so many things at once. When the only thing that you need to do is you just need to drop one bad habit. So what is that? Is that drinking? Is it smoking weed? Is it binging on Netflix? Do you know so many more people spend more time watching others win on social media, on Netflix, on Amazon Prime than they focus on their own dreams and goals? If you find yourself, if you're a person that consumes so much TV, so much social media, I want you to drop that habit. I want you to make a goal of it. Cancel your subscription, because this year is not going to be the same as last year. This year is the year that you're going to completely change your life. Stop watching other people win and create your own story this year. So for you, what are those habits going to be? It might be habits that you need to pick up every day that you do at work. The guys that are in my community, we have daily non-negotiables that we do every day. If you do those daily non-negotiables every day, it is going to be inevitable that you're not going to be able to get to the goal that you want to get to. All of the guys in my program right now in 2025, we are aimed at making between $150,000 and $200,000 a year. And if they do these daily non-negotiables, that income is going to be inevitable. So for you guys, what are those habits that you can adopt? Is it calling service customers? Is it you just doing daily lot walks? Is it you posting on Facebook Marketplace? What is it? What are those daily habits that you're going to do every single day that are going to get you to your goal? The next thing is work ethic. I can tell you right now, if you want to change your life in 2025, you need to completely adopt a new work ethic. And I'm not talking about the amount of hours that you spend at work. I'm talking about the things that you actually do when you are at work. See, a lot of guys, they go to work, but they're not actually working. They're not actually doing the activities that are going to get them to their goals. And that's by you making the calls that you need to. That's by you going all out on Facebook Marketplace. That's about you following up with your clients. A lot of guys, they go to work, but they spend more time talking to their colleagues than they do talking to their customers. So for you, you're gonna need to go on another level for your work ethic. One thing that I always found is that on month end, I never took a day off on month end. Month end was all about me getting to my goals and setting that new record for myself. Because every month was me about chasing my previous record. So at the end of the month, I was going all in. I wanted to chase my record, I wanted to beat it, and I wanted to set the tone for next month. So for you guys right now, I can tell you, work minimum 6 days a week. You're watching this video right now because you're not happy. And as soon as you accept you're not happy, as soon as you accept your reality and you decide that you want to change it, that's when you'll actually make a decision that you're going to go all out. So for you, work 6 days a week. See what happens in the month of January of 2025 if you work 6 days a week and if you adopt one new habit and you drop one bad habit of yours. The next thing is health. Look, I can tell you one thing. In our business, we need energy. Our clients need our energy all the time. You know, when you get that first up in the morning, you're so energetic, you're talking to the client, you're doing a killer walk around, you go on the test drive, and your energy is just contagious. But then when you get down to the end of the day, now you're dying, you're just dead. You have no energy anymore. You don't have the enthusiasm that you did, and your clients feel that because energy is contagious. And for us, health is so important because we need to make sure that we maintain a consistent level of energy throughout the whole day. What I found is that this is directly linked to the type of diet that you have. So for you, if you find yourself going through those midday crashes, what I would suggest that you adopt is a low carb diet. What I found is that when I'm on a low carb diet, my energy is consistent throughout the whole day. I don't have these crashes. I have no brain fog at all. And my vocabulary, everything that I say is just working at a higher level. So for you, if you're that kind of person that is very high carb, that's eating junk food, I can tell you right now, if you change your diet, your health will completely change, your energy will go through the roof, and your clients are gonna feel that, and you will definitely sell more cars. Let me ask you a question. If you see a person that takes care of themselves, automatically you're gonna trust this person, or you're gonna think that they can take care of them. If you see a person that's not taking care of themselves, you're going to say internally to yourself, this guy cannot even take care of himself. How is he going to take care of my needs? Give me the right guidance. Tell me what to do when he can't even take himself to the gym. This is how important your health is. We live in a world where you get judged in the first 5 seconds that a person looks at you. And unfortunately, that's the way that it's going to be. So work on your health if you want to dominate 2025. Adjust your diet. Get in the gym, get those energy levels high, and be proud of the person that you're looking in the mirror. Next thing is social media. If you want to dominate 2025, guys, you guys got to get all over social. Instead of consuming, now it's time for you to start producing. Instead of you looking at everybody on social media and living your life through their life, for you to dominate in 2025, this is going to be a year where you're going to set the foundation for your social media. Every client that you talk to, get them to follow you on social media. Get them to post a picture on your social media, tag them on there, post it on your story, get them to share it. These are the small habits that are gonna help you succeed 5-10 years from now. If you wanna be the guy 5-10 years from now that works strictly on appointments, that doesn't have to go chasing ups anymore, that doesn't have to make any phone calls anymore, that honestly doesn't even have to do that much follow-up anymore. You can be that guy 5-10 years from now if you go get on social media. If you get on social media, in the car industry, you can make close to $1 million a year. I guarantee you that you can. If you do this thing right, you will be so busy that you will need a team around you and your dealership will support you. You will need assistants. You will need delivery coordinators. You will need people that follow up for you. You will need to hire your own sales team because you'll be generating so many leads. And this is what this is all about. This is about you creating leads. As this video goes out to hundreds of people and they reach out to me and they follow me on Instagram, 5-10 years from now, all those people, they're all leads. Anybody who's on social media, why do you think they're on social media? It's to get leads. That's the way sales works. And as soon as you start understanding that, you can start creating your own lead magnet. So get all over social media. Look guys, the other thing is that if you found value in this video so far, a lot of guys ask me a lot of questions. Okay, the best way to reach out to me is text me at 778-928-0430. Ask me any question that you have and I'll make sure that I can help you out and reach out to you at a timely manner. The last thing is personal growth speed. What is your personal growth speed? A lot of you guys right now, you've been in this industry for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and you're wondering why you're stuck. There's a guy who was on a call last night and he had a book, Andy Elliott's book, which specifically went over scripts, how to overcome objections. What do we say to a client when they say, I need to think about it? What do we say to a client when they say, what's your best price? But let me ask you a question. That has nothing to do with your personal growth speed. A lot of guys, they know what to say, but their income is still the same. Why? Because they have not grown. You can never outgrow who you are. Your income will never outgrow who you are as a person. It'll always come back down to who you are and your capacity. You need to change your identity. You need to recreate yourself. You need to build a bigger capacity. And how do you do that? You do that by reading books. Whether it's an audiobook, whether it's a podcast, or whether it's you sitting down and reading books. But what I found is that reading books is the #1 gateway for you to succeed in this business. So for those of you who want to dominate in 2025, I'm going to show you how your income is directly correlated with your personal growth speed. So if you find yourself stuck right now, let's say you're making $100,000 a year. The reason why you're stuck right now is because your growth, personal growth speed is only at 2 books a year, 3 books a year, 4 books a year. But your personal growth speed, your income can only handle this much capacity. This is all the capacity that you have in the automotive industry. This is all that you can handle right now. The reason why you're stuck at $100,000 a year for the last 4 or 5 years is because your personal growth speed has been the same. It's been exactly the same, or it's probably even gone down. If you increase your personal growth speed, if you increase the amount of books that you read, you might not get to $100,000 in the first year. But I'll tell you what, in the second year or third year, you're going to start filling up your capacity. You're going to start making more money than you ever dreamt of. And this guy here, who's been in the industry for 4 or 5 years, who thinks he knows it all, who stopped growing himself, who stopped focusing on himself, who's working harder on his job than he is on himself, he's going to always be stuck there and he's going to wonder how the hell you ended up making more money than he did in less amount of time. So if you focus on yourself, if you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and you increase your personal growth speed, 2025 will be one of the greatest years that you have ever had in the automotive industry. Guys, if you found some value and if you liked the stuff that I'm talking about here today, all I ask is that you subscribe and like this video. And until next time, I'll see you later. You don't suck at sales, you just have not figured out what type of salesperson you are. If you're stuck at a certain level right now, you gotta understand that there's levels to this game in car sales or just sales in general. And the first thing that you need to do to improve your numbers, to increase your income, is that you need to identify what type of salesperson that you are, and then you need to go to work on it, on how to get to the next level. Now, in the automotive industry, there's 3 types of salespeople. You're either a cooler, you're a closer, or you're a cleaner. If you haven't heard these terms before, these terms are from a man named Tim Grover. Tim Grover was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. And he talks about in this book that in the NBA, there's basically 3 types of salespeople. There's coolers, there's closers, and there's cleaners. Cooler, if you're a cooler in the automotive industry right now, you're probably stuck between making $3,000 to $5,000 right now. Who is a cooler? A cooler is a guy who just walks into the dealership, puts his bag down, goes, grabs a coffee, goes and says hi to everybody. Everybody likes him. The management team like him. They don't really find him a pain in the ass, but they don't really like him at the same time as well. Cooler is the guy who just is winging it. He's the guy who doesn't read any books. Comes in at 9, he leaves right at 5. He's that guy who might be a little bit frustrated, but you know what? He's accepted his reality. He's accepted that this is the type of person that he's going to be. A cooler is a guy who's probably on Indeed all the time, looking for different career options, looking for a different job, thinking that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. Of course it is. A cooler is a guy who is distracted, who has no focus. He's a guy who has not got all in. He's got 1 foot in and he's got 1 foot out. And a cooler is a guy that blames everybody else for his circumstances except for himself. A cooler is a guy who's always hanging around the coolers. If you find yourself being a cooler, your income is probably around $3,000 to $5,000 every single month. And if any of the things that I talked about right now, any of the points resonated with you, then you're probably a cooler. The next type of salesperson is a closer. This guy right here, he's good at closing. He's got good energy. But this guy as well, he's just winging it. He stopped working on himself. He stopped reading books. He stopped watching YouTube videos on how to improve his vocabulary. This guy doesn't rely on habits. All this guy mainly relies on is ups and leads. A lot of the guys who have been in this industry for 4 to 5 years, they're closers. You know what they do? They grab all the leads that they can. Even after 4 or 5 years, they don't have any referrals. They grab all the ups that they can. They bitch and they complain. They have a lot of half deals. They steal a lot of clients from other new salespeople. They've been in this industry for a little bit. They're pretty decent at closing. But if you look at their gross is probably very, very low. They don't make that much money that they do per car. They give away a lot of vehicles. They try to desk their own deals. They talk about interest rates all the time. They give customers trade-in values before the manager even gets a chance to appraise their car. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like you? That sounds like a guy who's been in the industry for 4 or 5 years and thinks he knows it all. But why are you still making $5,000 to $10,000 a year? Why are you still making that? Why are you only making $5,000 to $10,000 a year when there's guys out there making $15,000 to $20,000 every single month? Why is that? Is it because your brand? Is it because your managers? Is it because of the inventory? I can tell you right now, it's not. It's because you're winging it. You're taking shortcuts. I can tell you right now, a closer is a shortcut master. He thinks he's mastered it all, but he's a master of actually nothing. But the first step of you improving your income is identifying what type of person that you are and is facing your reality. This is who you are. And you need to accept this and you need to decide and make a decision that you're not going to be this guy anymore. The third type of salesperson that there is, and I put question mark beside the income because the income is limitless. Who are cleaners? You might have heard of Michael Jordan before, maybe Kobe Bryant. Guess what? When Michael Jordan was on the court, or Kobe Bryant was, do you think the opposition liked him? Do you think even some of his teammates liked him? No, they didn't, but they respected him. Cleaners, they don't work on their emotions. They work on daily non-negotiables. They don't care about the weather. They don't care about what's going on inside, but they go to work every single day and they don't leave until they do their daily non-negotiable tasks. They don't have a lot of friends. The salespeople around them, a lot of them, they don't really like the cleaner. They don't like him, but they do respect him. And I can tell you right now, if you're a salesperson, everybody likes you, you're probably in one of these 2 categories here. Because as a cleaner, you will not be liked. You will be completely misunderstood. People will talk about you behind your back, but people only talk about people that are doing something. Nobody talks about people that are doing nothing. People only talk about those that are doing something. If you find a lot of people talking about yourself, that's probably because you're a cleaner. You're doing the right things. A cleaner, he makes a habit of working on himself by reading books, by growing his mind, by growing his mindset. A cleaner has no distractions, knows how to play the games. He knows to keep his managers closer than he does his colleagues. His managers are his best friends. His managers are the ones that he goes to lunch with, to dinners with. His managers are the ones that he invites over to his house, not the salespeople that work with him. If you got into this video so far, I can tell you, if you want to learn how to go from a cooler to a cleaner, you can text me at any time and ask me any question that you want at 778-928-0430, or you can reach out to me on IG and shoot me a DM. But for you, which one are you? Are you a cooler? Are you a closer? Or are you a cleaner? And in 2025, what are you going to decide to be? Are you sick and tired of making $3,000 to $5,000 a month? Have you been in the industry for 4 or 5 years and you're making 5 to 10K a month? Are you sick and tired of that? Are you ready to accept your reality? Are you ready to go to war with yourself and become the next best version that you've ever become in 2025? Because I'll tell you what, you'll watch this video, you'll do it for a week, you'll do it for 2 weeks, but next year, 2026 in December is gonna roll around and your income is gonna be exactly the same. And I can tell you right now, you are going to regret it. If there's ever been a time to change, the time to change is now. And I'm on a mission to produce as many $100,000 income earners in the automotive industry than there has ever been. And if you want to be a part of this mission, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And until next time, I'll see you later. So you probably clicked on this video because of the title, which obviously says alcohol and drugs are destroying your life. And the reason why you probably clicked on this video is because you're probably one of those guys who drinks alcohol all the time, binge drinking on weekends, smoking weed when you wake up, before you go to bed, or with your buddies whenever you're free, and you're sick and tired of it. And you know it's not the right thing to do. You know it. You know the thing that you're doing is wrong. You know the thing that you're doing every single night and every morning when you wake up is a degenerate thing that you should not be doing. You know your parents taught you better. You know when you wake up in the morning and you're completely fucking hungover that you're a piece of shit. You know when you wake up in the morning and you're completely hungover that you're a degenerate. That this is not the life that you're supposed to be living. This is not the life that you had mapped out for yourself. You know that you're supposed to be living a better life. You know you're supposed to be chasing success, chasing the best version of yourself. But you're letting these degenerate activities completely take that away. I'll never forget the day when I was waking up, my daughter was born. And by the way, this happened throughout all of my 20s. But the day that my life actually completely changed, where I was like, okay, enough is enough. I don't need any alcohol to fit in. I don't need to drink alcohol when I'm at parties. I can have fun just the way that I am. I can have fun sober. But I remember it was Christmas time, and in our community, what do we usually do when we get together with our families? We usually drink. That's what the men usually do. The women sit where they sit, and the men sit usually where they sit. And in our culture, it is an infectious disease that you have to be drinking alcohol. If you do not drink alcohol, you are not normal. So what happened? We were at a Christmas party at our house, and we did what we usually do. Pull out a bottle of Jameson. All the guys just sit together, have some food in front of them, and just get blackout drunk. And these are our uncles who are instilling these habits in us, and we're thinking it's okay. We're thinking it's cool. And literally, this is the type of environment that I had been in since I was in my 20s. But I remember one morning I woke up, I was at my parents' house because they live a little bit further than I do. And my daughter had just been born. She was, at that time, I would say she's probably about 3 months. And by now, I had gotten drinking completely under control. Like I was not like I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I was a fucking retard, I could say. I was making a lot of money. I was crushing it in my career. But I was also partying all the time. I had all this money, but I didn't have, like I said, I was missing that father figure. You know, when you're young, like when you're in your 20s, you're 23, 24, 25, and you start making close to $200,000 a year, and you don't have the right advice, you don't have the right mentorship at home, you can lose control very fast. And that's why you see a lot of these celebrities or a lot of these singers, a lot of these rappers who do very well, they make all this income, but then what happens to them? They end up becoming degenerates. They don't have the right people in their life. They have leeches in their life who are always trying to take from them, but they don't have the right people in their lives. By this time, I had gotten this completely under control. It's not like I was drinking alcohol all the time. But I still, knowing where I wanted to go, I knew this habit was not serving me. I just wanted it to completely stop because I found no use in it. It didn't benefit my life at all. And the problem was with that whenever I drank, which was very rarely, but whenever I would drink, it would be with my uncles and with my family. And when these guys drank, my uncles did, they literally drank to get blackout drunk. That's what they always did. This is how deep it runs in our culture. So I remember one morning waking up, I woke up and my mom, we have about in a couple acres in Edmonton, and we were in the backyard, and my daughter was just kind of she had just started walking. She's kind of running around, and me, I just woken up out of my alcohol coma that I just gotten out of. I woke up very late, groggy, just completely fucking hungover. And now obviously I wake up, I feel like a complete piece of shit because this is not who I am. And this happens like maybe a couple of years, three times a year. But whenever you do it, you know how you are. Even if you're in your 20s and doing it right now, the next day you always regret it. You always feel like a piece of shit. And the next day is a complete write-off, and you're like, why the fuck did I do this? And I remember waking up, and my mom, she was standing there with me outside in the backyard, and as I'm watching my daughter, she said, I never wanted you to be this kind of man. I never wanted this for you. She said, I always saw your dad growing up. You know how your dad was. He gave me a really hard time. He drank all the time. You knew how he was when you guys were kids. When you guys were kids, I went through such a hard time because your dad would just work and come home and drink. I had to basically raise you with my two hands. I didn't want this for you. And I thought since you saw how you grew up, that you would know how this makes me feel. And at that time, I thought, man, my mom's so selfish. She's just thinking about her, what she wants from me. She doesn't want me to drink. She doesn't want me to do that. But on the other end, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was looking at my daughter, and I was thinking about my father. And I said, if you've gone through a tough time in your life, your father, you can either become like your father, or you can say, I absolutely want to be nothing like him at all. And there's a story where an alcoholic father, he basically has two sons. One of the sons, he's a complete alcoholic. And what he does is he always blames his father. He says, because my dad was an alcoholic, I decided that I had no choice but to become one. On the other side, the other son is successful, living his dreams, has a beautiful family, taking care of his children. And he says, I owe it all to my dad. Because of the way my father was. That's why when I grew up, I decided I would never treat my family like this. So when I was watching my daughter, and again, it's like when you want to perform at a high level, like everything bothers you. At the point where I was when I was 22 years old to when I was 35, I wasn't even remotely the same person. But it bothered me that this one time that I let this thing kind of make me lose control. So when I was looking at my daughter and I was thinking about what my mom said, like my mom said this so many times to me before, my wife said this to me so many times before, but that time with my daughter being there, mom being there, us being outside, the wind was blowing, the sun was shining, and me just thinking about what she said, I said, you know what, she's right. I never want there to be a moment where I can't be present for my kids. Because as a man, if you're not ready to take care of your family, if you're not ready to take care of your children, you should have never taken that step in the first place. If you are ready to take the next step in life, you're ready to get married, you're ready to have children, then you better become the man that you're supposed to become to take on that responsibility. And I remember that day I decided, I said, I'm never going to let this happen to me again. I'm never going to get to a point, no matter the peer pressure, no matter my friends, they might laugh at me, no matter my uncle saying, oh, this guy's not the same guy that he used to be before. Just have a little bit of fun, just let loose. Once in a while, it's okay. Because these are the terms that people use. They literally say, once in a while, it's okay. It's okay to let loose sometimes. It's good for your mental health. But I said, who needs me more? Am I more worried about those things, or am I more worried about being there for my daughter when she needs me, when she needs her daddy to be at his 100%, to be the best version of himself. How do I become that man? When my mom said that day, I said, I am going to become a role model for not only my kids, not only for my wife, but for my whole entire family. I'm going to change our bloodline. I'm going to change the way that my kids and my family are going to behave. I am not going to behave like them anymore. I am going to get them to behave the way that I want my family to behave in the future. I am going to instill the good habits and the good diet. I'm going to instill the good mindset. I am going to instill in them the good family values that I know that we should have always had. Growing up when we were younger, my dad never even talked to us about family values, about the way that we should behave, the way that our mindset should be, the things that why we should be winning in life. You know, and imagine having children in your life, it's a blessing. It literally gives you a second chance in life because you get to live your life through your kids. It gives you another reason to want to win in life. It gives you a reason to be a better man. So for those of you who are younger, I can tell you right now, alcohol, drugs, vaping, all the stupid shit that you're doing right now, all the degenerate activities that you're doing right now, it is completely destroying your life, and you don't need to be that way. People think that it's normal just because you see that shit on TV, just because you see that stuff on entertainment or on YouTube. Doesn't mean that that's how you should live your life. Doesn't mean that that is normal. That is actually not normal. Society wants you to be like that so you can keep doing these bad activities so they can always keep you down. Why do you think they have more bars than they have libraries? Why is that? Why is it during COVID that bars were open and gyms were closed? Why is that? Have you ever thought about that actually? I think you know why the bars were closed and why the bars were open and the gyms were closed. So I can tell you right now, if you're a young man right now and you're trying to get away from these activities, it's okay if your friends laugh at you. If you're okay, it's okay if you don't want to go to those parties, you don't want to hang out at the same places that your buddies did. There's a lot of other young men out there waiting for you, who are winning, who are looking for a guy just like you to befriend them, to make friends with, to join a community. And that's why if you see the guys who are in our community, we are all on this mission together. They're fucking winning. They are crushing it in sales. Guys who are in their freaking 20s. If you want to know more about that, anyways, there's a link below. But there's a lot of guys out there who want to win just like you want to win really bad. And you're going to have to change your circle. You're going to have to get new friends. You might have to start spending less time with your family. But alcohol, drugs, vaping, all this stupid shit that you're doing, it is completely destroying your life. When I look back, when I was in my 20s, you know, when I started making all the money that I was in sales, I thought drinking was normal because everybody in my family did it. And I remember from being 25 to literally 30, those 5 years, the amount that I drank, the amount that I partied, the amount that I enjoyed, the amount of hangovers that I had, the amount of times that I would show up to work when I was completely hungover, it was freaking crazy. But had I known that this is not normal, this is not the way that you should be doing things, I would be so much further ahead than I am right now. But they always say, through your mistakes also comes success. Through those mistakes, it made me a better man. And the best way for you to learn is from others' mistakes. That's why I'm sharing these things with you right now, so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes that I did, so that you can actually speed up your success. So you can get there faster. You can become a better man. You can become the best version of yourself, so that by the time you do get to your 30s, or if you're watching this and you're in your 30s, by the time you do get to your 40s, your life is completely different. You're not still trying to figure out life when you can figure it out right now. So learn from the mistakes that I made. Learn from the things that I'm telling you right now that are things that are not going to lead you to success. The sooner that you get rid of these vices and these bad habits, the sooner that you start changing your circle, the people around you start changing, you start leveling up your relationships, and the sooner that you start becoming the man that not only you, but your future family and your future self deserves. Until next time, I'll see you later. The title of this video is that I'm a 37-year-old car salesman and you need to hear this. What I'm going to tell you today is something that could change your life in 2025, specifically if you're in the automotive industry. See, every year we go into each year and we want to change. We wait till New Year's Day and we want the next year to be completely different. We make all of these promises to ourselves that this is the year where my life is going to change. This is the year where I'm going to get out of debt. This is the year where I'm going to go travel to all those places that I wanted to go. This is the year that I'm going to be able to help my family pay off all of their bills. This is the year that I'm going to buy the car. This is the year that I'm going to get the best shape in my life. But if you're watching this video, you've been through this story before. And it's 2025, literally. Did you ever think that this year would ever come to 2025? Because I remember when I was younger, for those of you who might be a little bit older, I remember 2025, we thought by 2025 there would be flying cars. 2025, life was supposed to be completely different. It was supposed to be looking completely different than what it looks today. But here we are. We're literally heading into 2025. And if you really want to change your life, specifically in car sales, you got to do something different than what you've been doing the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Whether you're 20, whether you're 30, or whether you're 40, it's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. But you have to take this seriously. So I do wish you a Merry Christmas. And I do wish you a Happy New Year. But I hope you understand that you have to be intentional about 2025. You can't just go into it with blind goals, with no plan, with no action plan, and just a hope and a dream, and just thinking that your will and desire is going to get you to where you want to go, because it is not. It's going to take you constant reminders, something that are called triggers, which I teach in my coaching community. Triggers meaning it's going to take you reminding yourself on a daily basis of what your goals are, having them in front of your face. Most of us, what we do is we hide from our goals. We don't want to see them because we get 1 day behind, we get 2 days behind, and now we just want to avoid them. We don't want to ever revisit them again. But you need to constantly remind yourself of your goals so they stay in front of you, and it keeps you fired up, it keeps you motivated, because you know where you're heading in 2025. You're crystal clear. If you're not clear on your vision, it'll never come true. Having crystal clarity is the number one separator between those who are successful and those who are not. So get crystal clear on your goals. Get crystal clear on your vision of what it's going to look like for 2025. How much money do you want to make? How are you going to make that income? How many hours are you going to work per week? What type of vacations are you going to take? I call those milestones. See, me and my wife, we're going to sit down on Boxing Day. And Boxing Day, for those of you in the States, it's the 26th, basically like our Black Friday. But we're not going to do the shopping around like normal people do. We're going to plan our 2025. We're going to sit down and intentionally plan it. And we're going to have our milestones, things that are going to excite us next year. And most of those are going to be trips around each quarter. I like to take a trip around each quarter if we hit our goals. And we're going to plan it out. And it's going to be freaking exciting. So if you're married, bring your spouse into this plan. Sit down and plan out your whole year next year. Listen to her goals and dreams and what she wants to be. Does she want to get in shape? What does she want to do next year? It's not all about you. You win as a family and you lose as a family. So I urge you to take the time during this holiday season to plan 2025, which could completely shift your life. Next year is going to be crazy. You got new prime ministers, new presidents are going to be coming into power. You got Honda and Nissan, merger, acquisitions. So much crazy stuff is happening, but it's all going to be there for you for the taking. While people are distracted by AI saying that the industry is shifting, you're going to take advantage of it. And in my community, what I found was that the one-page business plan that I shared with them, that's what had the most impact on my life. I have a one-page business plan that me and my wife are going to take all of our goals, we're going to put it on this one-page business plan, and that's what we're going to laminate. I'm going to put it in my shower, I'm going to put it on my fridge, and we're going to look at it every single day. If you want this one-page business plan, just text me and I'll send it over to you at 778-928-0430. That one-page business plan was the thing that completely changed my life. But for those of you who are in sales, I want you to get intentional about this year. I want you to take it seriously. I want you to reach heights that you never thought you could reach before, and I want you to dream big, and I want you to aim small, but dream big. But share that vision with you and your spouse, or you and that loved one, whoever it may be, or just share it with yourself. Have those triggers where you're going to remind yourself on a daily basis. Because 2025, for those of you who are in car sales, is going to be, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be one of the biggest money-making years that you've ever had before. And each and every one of you, especially if you're new in this industry, there's no reason why you cannot make $150,000 next year. If you're serious, if you're intentional, if you work hard, and you have the right habits, and you have the right plan, and you have the right vision, there's no reason why you should not hit it. So this is my gift to you. And this is the only way in which I know that I can gift anything to you of value, is that trying to get you to hopefully take this seriously. So if you got any value from this, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. But the purpose of this channel is to help you succeed in car sales. Car sales gave me so much in my life. It gave me everything that I have. And why do I do this? I'm running my own store. We're crushing it. Year over year in 2024, we completely destroyed 2023. And my mission in 2025 is to destroy what we did in 2024. I do this because this is my arena. I used to play sports, and now this is how I distract myself. And this is what lights a fire under me, because I want all of you guys, I know there's a lot of you struggling in car sales right now, but you shouldn't be. You have the platform, you have the cars, you have the industry, you have people that are willing to spend money, you have interest rates that are really low. Everything is set up for you to be successful. And the only reason that you're not is because you are not working on yourself. You're working harder on your job than you are on yourself. That is the only reason not. You're not taking this business seriously. But if you want any help at all, you know where to reach me. But other than that, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. And I really hope you take advantage of 2025, because it could be the year where you completely change your life. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go over how to make $100,000 income a year. Why should you listen to me? Because I'm a guy who started at the bottom, who went to the very top, became a general manager. I've trained hundreds of salespeople till this day that still make $100,000 income a year and above. And I've trained guys who have been in this country for 2 months, and I've trained guys who have been in this industry for 10 years. But if you're watching this video right now, you have the opportunity to make an income that not many people have the opportunity to make. Even the people that go to school for 4 years, get a degree, and they're in debt when they come out of college, they don't even make 6 figures. And I believe everybody in this world, through sales, can make a 6-figure income. But for you who's watching this video right now, maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're not happy where you're at right now. Maybe you're up to your neck in mortgage payments, and maybe you're just a little bit sad with Christmas coming around. You can't afford the presents that you wanted to get for your kids. Maybe this Christmas you're a little bit disappointed, and you want next Christmas to be a lot different than what it is now. Or maybe you're somebody who's been in the automotive industry for a while now and is just sick and tired of being broke. But I'm going to go over the things that I think that will definitely help you to get to that 6-figure mark. And the points that I'm going to share with you today are things that I changed in myself over the term of my career. But if you start working on these things today, there's no reason in 2025 you should not be earning a 6-figure income and more. If you really do the things that I'm going to share with you today, there's no reason that you won't be making 6 figures. And the things that I'm going to share with you today, they're probably some things that you haven't heard before. And my first point is vices. If you want to make 6 figures a year, your vices need to go out the window. What do I mean by vices? I mean, like when I was younger and I first started out in sales, I wasn't the most confident guy. I was one of the biggest introverts coming out of high school. So what did I used to do to get out of that insecurity? I used to drink. And when I used to drink, I used to completely change into a different person. I could talk to people, I could socialize, I was the life of the party. But me sober and me drinking, 2 different types of people. But for you, you need to get rid of some of these vices. If you really want to change your life and you really want to change your career in 2025, you need to get rid of some of the vices. And for you, it might be drinking. It might be smoking weed. It might be you binge watching Netflix on a Sunday afternoon when you could be spending that time to work on your career. So my question to you is, how serious are you about changing your life? Because a lot of people, they say they're serious, but they're not really serious. They want to change their life, but they don't really want to change their life when there's a little bit of pain or they might have to give something up. But my question to you is, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your bad drinking habits? You're smoking weed all the time. Are you willing to give up a little bit of TV for a season of your life? So you can have next year the best spring, the best summer, the best winter that you have ever had. Are you willing to sacrifice a couple seasons of your life now so the seasons that are upcoming can be beautiful? But if you want to make 6 figures a year, you need to get rid of some of your vices, and whatever they are, whatever you know they are that are affecting you right now, you need to drop them, or else you're not going to stand a chance. Because in sales, it's such a competitive world out there that if you don't do these things, you're going to get eaten alive. And the next thing is your emotions. You need to control your emotions. See, as guys, we get so high up and we get so far down. But I can tell you, in this automotive industry, you're going to face more rejections than you are going to face cars sold. So you need to become used to getting rejected. You need to become used to getting a no. And Marcus Aurelius, who's one of the greatest generals to ever live, he practiced a way of life that's called Stoicism. And in Stoicism, he always talked about you always should stay level. Never get too high, never get too low. If you want to make it in the automotive industry, you need to manage your emotions. You need to never get too high. You never need to get too low. You sell a car, you do a hat trick, big deal. It's just another day. Somebody says no to you, you get 3 no's. You have 5 appointments booked. All 5 customers say no. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect you emotionally. In this business, you're going to need to control your emotions because you always need to be on your game when you're on the phone, when you got a client sitting in front of you, and when you're dealing with your managers. If you control your emotions, you'll be able to control your paycheck. The next thing is big ego, stay humble. 2 opposite ends. You might be thinking, Vashal, what do you mean? Big ego and stay humble? Yes, that's exactly what I mean. In this business, if you're not confident, if you don't have a little bit of an ego meaning confidence, you're never going to make it because your customers will not buy from you. Customers want you to instill confidence in them. If they see that you're nervous, you don't really know what you're talking about, you're not really handling them properly, when it gets to numbers, you're all like nervous, you're a nervous wreck, you're sweating, they're not going to buy a car from you because you're not confident. You're not making them feel confident in their purchase. But also, stay humble. I always see it over and over again. Guys who are in this business, in the first 3 months, they always end up crushing it. Sell 20 cars, make a great paycheck, they're on fire. But then what happens after 3 months? They think they know everything. They think that they know more than their managers do. See, at the beginning, you're your manager's best friend. Now, after 3 months, you think you know more than your managers do. And now all of a sudden, no wonder they're not stepping up on your trades. No wonder you're not getting the deals. No wonder you're not getting the leads. Why would you ever piss off your boss? There's a book by Robert Greene called Mastery. And in that book, one of the laws is never outshine your master. Look, you want to play the game, you want to play this sport, I'm telling you how to play it. Whether you're better than your manager or not, whether you think you know, maybe you're a better salesperson than your manager, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's in a power of position. And you want to befriend your managers more than you want to befriend your colleagues. Your colleagues are not going to help you with your paycheck. And I see these guys, all the salespeople like them. They're best friends with all the salespeople, but they're not best friends with their managers. If you want to succeed in this industry, make sure you are your manager's best friend. That is your one way for you to get ahead, for you to increase your paycheck. So big ego, but also stay humble at the same time. Next thing is be friendly with your managers. We've already talked about this. Make sure that you're on their good side. Make sure that it doesn't matter. Look, my vice president, when he tells me to do something, I don't say, oh no, we should do it this way, we should do it that way. Whatever he tells me to do, I do the best that I can, and I want to blow his expectations. That's how you move up in this world. I'm not in that position yet. When I get to that position, I can make the calls. But right now, I'm the one who has to take the advice and who has to take what he tells me and go and execute. And that's what you should be doing at the same time. The reason why most guys don't move up in the industry or don't have bigger paychecks is because, especially the guys who've been in this industry for 10 years, is because they think they know more than their managers do. They skip steps. This is the one thing that you need to improve. See, if one thing that just came to my mind, if you've been in this industry, what happens with new guys, see at the beginning, they do all the trade appraisals through their managers. But now, they think they know everything. They're an auto trader, trying to appraise a client's car, trying to give them a number. They're on their desking tool, they're on their Scotia, they're on the bank calculator, desking payments for the clients already. What are you doing? You think you're smart by desking deals and giving the customer payments when you used to go to your manager before? You think you're smart by giving trade-in values to your clients? You're costing yourself deals right now. If you're doing that right now, you need to stop that because that is not going to get you to where you want to go. You got to get back to basics and you got to learn how to play the game. There's a reason why there's steps in car sales because when you walk the client through those steps, you're walking them through the sale. When you skip a step, you're not playing the game the right way and you're going to lose. The next thing is become a master at asking questions. Okay? And by the way, guys, if you need any help, if you need any advice, I got your back for life. The best way to get a hold of me is text me at 778-928-0430 and I'll help you with anything that you need. Either way, I just want to see you win. But the next thing is become a master at asking questions. If you become a master at asking questions, your sales will increase. When a customer says, I need to think about it, or they say the price is too high, are you talking more than the client is, or are they talking more than you is? Are you trying to sell the client, or are you trying to get the client to sell themselves? See, with me, when I don't close deals, I don't close clients, I get clients to close themselves. I hope that makes sense. I don't close clients, I get clients to close themselves by asking them the right question. If a customer says your price is too high, what is the best way to close that client? Get the customer to say that you have the best deal. Get the customer to say that the reason why they came in to see this car is because of the price. If you start getting clients to close themselves by asking them the right questions, your paychecks will be so much bigger. And the next thing is daily non-negotiables. Guys, look, if you get involved in this industry, you want to change your life in 2025, you got to have daily non-negotiable tasks. And these tasks are what I get my guys to do who are in my community right now, and every single one of them are freaking crushing it. They're going to take over in 2025. But for you, imagine you going to the gym 5 days a week, working through your routine, doing your daily non-negotiable workouts that you had to do. Imagine you did that for the next 52 weeks in 2025. Do you not think you'd be in the best shape of your life? Of course you would be. So what are daily non-negotiables? Daily non-negotiables are you doing daily tasks every day so at the end of 2025, your success will be inevitable. How can you make your success inevitable? By doing the daily mundane tasks every single day. If you want a list of these tasks, which I know if you do, you will freaking crush it. Like I said, text me and I'll get those over to you right away. But other than that, guys, 2025 is going to be one of the best and the biggest times that the automotive industry has ever had for you to make a living, for you to change the trajectory of your career, and for you to stop living paycheck to paycheck. it could set the foundation for you for the rest of your career. Do not sleep on 2025. 2025 is going to be one of the best years in the automotive industry, and I hope you crush it. I hope you take this business seriously, and I hope this business can change your life just like it did mine. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. So, this video is going to be a little bit different than most of the ones that I usually make, and it's me just going to be telling you guys just how it is and the daily struggles that guys who are in their 30s that they go through and how we can overcome them. And the title of the video is I'm 37 years old and I made $250,000 as a car salesman. And I can tell you how I did it. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because there's a lot of things going on in our world right now where average men out there who are like me, who have families, who are working their asses off at blue-collar jobs, but not able to afford to put dinner on the table, not able to be able to afford to barely pay the mortgage payment, barely make it by, barely being able to provide for their kids' birthday parties. It's Christmas time right now at the time that I'm making this video. And the amount of pressure that I know that some of you guys are going through because you can't even provide Christmas presents, or it's a burden, or it's you can get one present here, but you can't really get the present that you want for your wife, or the presents that you're getting for your children. You're really kind of cheapening out on them because you can't afford the presents that you really want for your kids. And I know what it's like because I've been there, I've done that. And with what's going on in our world today, with the way inflation is, with the way the cost of goods, the cost of groceries, the cost of clothes, the cost of living in general, it's really, really gotten out of hand completely. And I know a lot of you guys out there who might be in your 30s, who have these mortgage payments, who are just feeling stressed out right now, feeling down, feeling like you're up to your neck in bill payments and you really don't know what to do. You go to work every single day at your job, and when your paycheck comes in, after the government takes their half, you look at your bank account and it scares the shit out of you because you don't know how you're going to get by this month. How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to provide food for your family? Those dinners that you had planned to take out your family on that Sunday that you have off, you can't even afford to do that. You can't even afford to take them to Science World. You can't even afford them to take an amusement park. You can't do the things that you really wanted to do with your kids and your family because the job that you're working at right now is not providing you the income that you need to literally just survive. I'm not even talking about thriving. The job that you're working at right now, you literally can barely survive off of it. So the life that we're living right now, God did not bring us here on this planet just to get by. Then what's the point of living? You're in the prime time of your years right now. 30s are the new 20s. The 40s are the new 30s. We have started aging less and less. We are the pace at which we age now has gotten less and less. So for those of you who are in your 30s right now, at the time I'm 37 years old, this is the prime time of your life. Some of you guys think it's too late for a change. Think that that ship has sailed. Think that you don't really need to, it's too late for you to change careers right now because you're taking way too big of a risk. I'll tell you right now is the time more than ever that if you want to make a change, if you want to take a risk, now is the time to do it. I started in the automotive industry when I was 24 years old. And at that time, I had lost my business. I had moved from Alberta to British Columbia to open up my own business. And I had lost it. The only reason why I'm in the automotive industry was because, honestly, it's the only industry that would accept me right away. And that's me being brutally honest. I didn't have an education. I went to college for 1 year. I did materials engineering, but then I dropped out because I got a sales job And that sales job had ended up paying me as much money as I would have had I gone to get my 4-year degree for materials engineering. So I dropped out. Now, a guy who just knows how to sell, I was looking for a job in the automotive industry, accepted me right away. And my career took off. In my very first year, I was able to make $100,000 income. And after that, I got promoted and I got promoted and I got promoted. And I remember I became the general sales manager at our Nissan dealership. At that time, life was just flying. Me and my wife went from sleeping on a mattress, and at that time we had just bought our first home. We just bought our townhouse. I was killing it. I was crushing it. I was making $15,000 to $18,000 every single month as a general sales manager. I was young, confident, had the money. We were going on the trips. My wife, when we first got married, we didn't have enough money for our honeymoon. We were sleeping at a mattress that time. And I felt ashamed because I couldn't take her on a honeymoon. And I never brought up the topic. Every year, anniversary after anniversary. We had kind of agreed that we were going to save our money and now wasn't the right time and we're going to do it later. But I remember every time our anniversary would come around, I would always feel ashamed as a man because I couldn't take her to the places that she wanted to go to. But lo and behold, 3 years later, our honeymoon got delayed 3 years. But in 2017, I was able to take her to Bora Bora. And till this day, none of my family circle, none of my friends, none of the people that I've even ever worked with have gone to Bora Bora. And if you go look it up and see how much it costs, you'll see what I mean. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm just saying that to let you know what's possible. Because I've been down and I've been up and I've been down again. And at that time, I was so young and naive. I was making such a great income. I had about $100,000 saved up in my bank account. That I told my wife, I said, and this is where sometimes personal development can be too much for you. I told my wife, I said, you know what, I think I've done what I wanted to do in the automotive industry. I know this industry. I know I can crush it. But I don't want to have any regrets. I want to try something different because I know what I can do here. And so at that time, even my wife kept telling me, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? But the one thing about my wife is that she always believed in me. So we had a chat and I ended up leaving the automotive industry. I left it to pursue something different, a different career. Remember, I had made this mistake once. I had gone from sales to opening up my own business. I had failed, but then I had made it all back in the automotive industry. And now I was leaving again. So I started in a different industry, and 6 months to a year later, I looked at my bank account and all my savings was gone. $100,000 of my savings. Just wiped out, just gone. What a fool I was. All my money was gone. All my savings were gone. We sold our house. And I convinced my wife that we should move into a basement so we could save money for our next home. So I took her from initially living in her parents' house, which was a mansion. Big house, biggest house, one of the biggest houses that I've ever been in. Took her from there to moving into a basement with me, living on a mattress when we got married. Keep selling her the dream. And then we bought our own house and everything went good. Then we went to Bora Bora and now we were back in the basement again. $100,000 gone out of the bank account. And I remember that was right around where COVID hit, where I was just at my lowest point. Living in this basement. I remember the basement that we were living in, it was like, it wasn't one of those basements. It was like those basements that were actually meant to be a bar. So our kitchen was actually a bar. It wasn't actually a kitchen. And there was one bedroom and one washroom. And the main living room was just like a space where, like a theater room. That's all it was. And that's where we spent most of our time. And I remember during COVID, that's when my health was at its worst. I was depressed. I was broke. I was literally living off the government at that time with the COVID checks. And I didn't know what to do. And I was so scared of failing. I was so scared of telling my wife that I didn't want to do what I wanted to do anymore. I wanted to go back into the automotive industry. I just didn't want to break her heart. But I had this feeling inside of me that I was like, I knew if I went back to the automotive industry, I could make everything back fast because I was good at it and I knew the automotive industry and I know I could go and dominate it. So I remember that day I had a conversation with my wife and she said, Vashal, I'm sick and tired of you not making a decision. You need to make a decision and you need to go all in, and no matter what you do, I will always support you. And when she said that, I just looked at her and I'm like, after everything that we've been through, the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, she still believed in me at that time. She gave me the courage to go out and go apply at a dealership. So right around COVID in July 2020 was when I handed out my resume. The first place that I went suited. I was dressed to impress, which you should always do. And I remember it was a Toyota dealership and I went there and I applied there. And the guy told me, he's like, I want you, he took my resume. I met the general manager actually, and he said, I'll call you back. He called me back within half an hour. I went back the very next day and I got the job. So I went from being a sales manager to a general sales manager, and now I got the job as a sales manager again. And I went home and I was ecstatic. I told my wife, because I knew what was about to happen. I knew right off the bat, within just that day that I got hired, I knew in 2020 I was going to make close to $100,000 a year. I knew because I knew how the income worked. But I didn't know how crazy my life was about to get. In 2020, I was a sales manager. And I started in July, and I think from December. I don't remember how much I made, but I was making a great income. But in 2021 was when everything changed. In 2021, I went from sales manager and I became a general sales manager again. In 2021, that year, I made close to a $200,000 income that year. And again, everything started changing. I didn't have the down payment at that time to go and buy a house, but I moved from the basement to a really nice townhouse. And I remember the rent was at that time was probably around, I think it was $2,600, $2,400, somewhere around there. And we were happy again. And that's when we were getting ready to, my wife was pregnant at that time, and my daughter was born. And then in 2022, things got even crazier. I was on pace to making over $250,000 a year income. And at that time, I had an opportunity at a different dealer group. I had been actually recruited on LinkedIn. Somebody had approached me to go to a group called, one of the largest groups in Canada, to become a general manager. And my dream was always to become a general manager. And I went to that group and they hired me. And in 2023, I made close to almost a $250,000 a year income. So the point of this video is, if a guy like me can do it, who's been through everything, who's had his car repossessed. I didn't tell you guys because I was really kind of embarrassed, but that time in 2020 when I was living in my basement, I remember going upstairs to the driveway, coming out of the basement, going upstairs to the driveway, and my car wasn't there anymore. And instantly I knew there's a sick feeling in my stomach. I knew where my car had gone. I knew it had got repossessed. And that just fucking broke my heart. I couldn't believe that I had let my family get so low. So what did I do? I tried to be positive. We bought this 2005 Honda Civic, piece of shit. It was a coupe, no leather seats. It was just such a piece of shit. We were at such a low point in my life, and I couldn't understand. I said, Vashal, how the fuck did you get back here again? How did you get back to this point when you had everything going for you? And that's when I made a decision. I said, enough is enough. I'm going back to the automotive industry and I'm never looking back again. So if you're in your 30s, even if you're in your 20s, if a guy like me can do this, then so can you. You deserve to provide for your family. You deserve to not be living paycheck to paycheck. You deserve to take your family on the trips that they always wanted to go. Your family deserves, not only you, your family deserves to live their dream life, but you need to have the balls to go after it. You need to make a decision that enough is enough and I'm not living my life like this anymore, and then just go all out. Because I'll tell you one thing, at every dealership that you go to, there's somebody there making $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year, $250,000 a year. There's proof. But a lot of us, we get our advice from guys who are online who have never done shit in their life, who aren't even making the income that you want to make. I've done it. I've been there. I've been at the bottom and I've been at the top where I am right now. So from a guy who's done it before, who's had a blue collar job, blue collar education, if I can do it, then so can you. I'm 37 years old and I'm consistently making $250,000 a year in the automotive industry. And who knows what the future is going to hold, but I'm talking about right now. And for you in 2025, you can change your life as well. But you need to make that decision for you and your family. And as a man, you need to believe that you're making the right decision. Don't rely on your wife to make the calls. You need to make the call. And are there a lot of guys who struggle in our industry? Yes, there are. But if you learn from their mistakes and if you don't do the things that they're doing, you will be successful. A lot of the guys, when you get started in the automotive industry, they're going to try to give you advice. They're going to try to feed you negativity because they want you gone. You're their competition. But if you be the lone wolf and you put on your blinders and you just get to work and you just listen to trainings and you just improve yourself on a daily basis, the checks will start rolling in. And I'm telling you, by 2026, your life is going to look completely different. So I wanted to make this video out for you guys because 2025 is coming right around the corner right now. And if you're going to make a decision, now is the time to make it. So again, if you got any, if you felt like this video helped you at all, or if you got some value from it, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And I wish you all the best. Hey guys, so I literally just got out of a training session. But one of the main things that I talked about with my guys was Facebook Marketplace. And I was actually shocked to see how many guys are in the car business, but that are not utilizing Facebook Marketplace. A lot of you guys, I would say almost 90% of car salesmen, they don't even use Marketplace to advertise the vehicles that are on their lot. You want to win, you want to make $100,000, $200,000, $250,000 a year. How are you going to do that without using Marketplace? A lot of guys ask me, oh, do you know about marketing? Should you run Facebook ads? Should you run IG ads? If you don't even master Facebook Marketplace, why are you trying to get to the next step? There's a roadmap to success in the automotive industry. And the first one is that your dealership that you work for, they've taken on all of the responsibility. They've taken on all the stress. They've paying all the interest on these vehicles. They bought you all these cars and they put them on your lot. All you have to do now is market those vehicles. So why aren't you? Facebook Marketplace is completely free. With Facebook Marketplace, you're going to generate your own ads. You're going to generate your own leads instead of relying on the leads from the dealership. Why don't you create your own leads? Why don't you start posting every single car that is on your lot? Why don't you start posting that on Marketplace? Why are you making excuses? See, the reason why you're failing is because you're not doing the things that you know that you need to do. You know that you should be posting on Marketplace, but you're not. And some of the things that you might be asking yourself, well, I don't really know what to put in the ad. I don't really know what to say. I don't really know. Should I take my own photos or should I take my dealership photos? Look, you need to just get started. You literally just need to get started on Facebook Marketplace. And if you're not on that right now, that's the reason why you're failing. So what should you do on Marketplace? Look, if I were you right now, I would set myself a goal, put my phone, turn all my notifications off, put it on airplane mode, and I would go on a mission of posting every single vehicle that I have on my lot on Marketplace. That is the first thing that I would do. The second thing is that you're going to say, oh, what do I put in the ad? Look, it's simple. People have a scrolling issue. People have attention deficit disorder. They cannot pay attention for that long. So in your Facebook Marketplace ads, keep it simple, keep it short. Just put the main things on there. No accidents, local vehicle, leather, sunroof, all-wheel drive, hybrid. That's it. Do not put all those long descriptions that you have like they are on your website. That's what you should use for the description. The third thing that you're going to be asking me, oh, but what about the photos? Should I post the photos myself, you know? Because if I post them off my dealership, look, just shut up. Just get, right now, all you need to do is get all of the cars online. That's all you need to do. And the best way to do that is to copy and paste them off of your dealership. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want it to look like that you are from an automotive dealership. What you want it to look like is that you are like a private person selling the vehicle. So just make sure you don't have, any of your dealership information on there. Okay. And those are the three things that you basically need to do. You just do that alone. When you walk into, how good would it feel when you walk into the dealership and you have 40, 50, 60 unread messages that you have to get back to? Do you think you'd be a little bit more fired up? Do you think you'd be a little bit more excited? Do you think you'd have, a little bit more zest for the automotive business? You wouldn't even have time to eat lunch. Right now, a lot of you guys are more worried about eating lunch than you are about your future. Look, if you are not all over Marketplace, I don't understand what you're doing in this automotive industry. I don't get it. When I first started in the automotive industry, Craigslist was huge. And when I came in, I saw that all the other guys, they were picking up all the ups. I was a little bit uncomfortable. I didn't have that much confidence, so I decided to go online. I knew how that worked, so I posted all the cars on Craigslist back then. And Craigslist was huge. And that's how I sold the amount of cars that I did. That's how I moved up in my career so quickly. So for those of you guys, some of you guys have been in this industry for 5-10 years, and you're still relying on ups. You're still begging for leads. You're still wondering why you're not successful. Give your head a shake, man. You know why you're not successful. It's because you haven't changed your mindset. You're still doing things the same old way. Or the second thing is you've just accepted the reality that this is the way your life is going to be. But it doesn't have to be that way. Why are some people making multiple six figures and you're just getting by? Why is that? Why have you accepted that? Until you don't start doing these type of things and treating this business like an actual real business, you will never be successful. This exact roadmap that I give to the guys who are in my community. Anyways, that's in the link below if you want to go check it out. But you need to get on Marketplace. If you're not, guys, it's 2025. I don't know what you're doing. I've given you the exact roadmap, very simple video that I just wanted to share with you guys. I've given you the roadmap on what to do. It's really, I can't hold your hand. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. I love all of you and I want to see all of you fucking win because this business changed my life. But I can't do the work for you. You have to put in the work. I can only guide you. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.